Hey guys, how you doing? I read a post here that was pretty disturbing, and I thought it would be a good lesson for everybody concerned. This is a lesson, it should be obvious, but so many people are not listening to this lesson. What's that lesson? Stay out of debt. Stay out of debt. The post was 76% of all personal income tax last month, this is in June, in the US, went to servicing the $34 trillion national debt. This is horrible. So the US government has gotten so profligate, so bad with their spending habits, that now 76% of the income they brought in is just to pay interest on debt. This is not going to end well. This is these politicians who kept spending all this money over decades and decades. They are not good. Not good. So how does this relate to you who may be living in Europe or maybe living in Canada or maybe living in South America, somewhere, wherever? How does this impact you? Well, it's a lesson. Just as it's stupid for countries to go into debt, where eventually it reduces the quality of life and it can cause a huge problem, put unnecessary pressure on people. Personal debt is just as bad, if not worse. So I've been there. So about 30 odd years ago, a good friend of mine, I was talking to him on the phone. I said, hey, my credit card debt's pretty small. I'm only paying $200 a month in interest. And he he didn't look at me, but he was flabbergasted. He said, why are you holding credit card balances? Why do you have credit card debt? I said, it's a small debt. The banks said it's a small debt's okay. He says, $0 in debt in the credit cards is the stupidest thing ever. And he explained to me, why is it stupid? High interest rates, paying high interest rates. Anyway, I took it to heart what he told me, and I took a look at how much I was spending per month on interest and payments on things, buying a new computer, whatever it was. Anyway, so I was paying about $700 a month on payments for things that I didn't really need, or I shouldn't have had payments on them. I should have bought these things cash if I was going to buy anything. A lot of it was interest payments. If I recall, I think it was about $200 a month just in interest payments. $200 a month. This is back, 25 years ago or so, almost 30. So I think today that would be equivalent about $400, $500 a month in interest payments. And I thought to myself, I'm going to put in today's money so it gives you better perspective. I'm paying $500 a month just on interest, not paying off the debt, just the interest payments. And so that's $6,000 a year. Now, $6,000 a year, you could do a lot with that, right? 10 years at $60,000 you've just given to banks and creditors in terms of interest payments. $60,000. 10 years, that's a lot. Think about $5,000, $6,000 a year that could be used to go on nice trips. More importantly, invest and save. So I decided to get rid of the debt. I started slashing and cutting and changing my lifestyle, eating out much less, eating cheaper, blah, 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 blah. And what I found as my debt load decreased and my payments decreased, I found my level of relaxation increased, right? The level of pressure on me decreased. It was hugely beneficial. And it took me, I don't know what it was, about a year and a half. And I finally got myself out of debt. And man, it was like a big weight off my shoulders. Like I had this 800-pound gorilla on my shoulders, and I just went, whew, and I got rid of it. And it was the best feeling ever. And ever since then, I said, I'm not going to pay the banks or some creditor interest payments. I'm just going to pay myself those interest payments and invest and save. Best decision I ever made. Best decision I ever made. It allowed me to retire quite early. Retirement quite early. And I've been coasting ever since then. It's been over 20 years now. So yeah, if you take anything away from this video, if you have credit card debt, you guys look at your numbers. You got to start organizing. You got to start getting rid of your high interest debt as quickly as possible. Discipline yourself. Let's say you need to buy a new computer. Save, wait 6 to 8 months, you save and then you buy. You don't buy now. Unless you absolutely have to, unless your computer's in smoking and in flames, it's becoming unusable. Then if you have to, you have to. But don't buy anything where you have to start paying interest. If, for example, you need a computer, a new computer because of work, and you can get like 0% interest. Sometimes you'll get that. I don't know about these days, but if you can get 0% interest, then okay, fine. You're not paying interest. The key is you don't want to pay interest. That's number one. So number two, you don't want to buy stuff you don't need. Listen, we're all there. Like I'm in a position where I can buy whatever I want, and I buy too much perhaps. So this camera, I got this camera here and that camera here, and I got, I'm keeping the stuff, even though this one here, pro camera, 4 years old. I'm going to keep it because it still shoots really good video. I can get a brand new one, the new models that are coming out, but the productivity enhancement with the new camera or the brand new computer is marginal. It's not worth the money. So when you get into that mindset of wanting to minimize your expenses and eliminate interest payments and just save, you're going to feel much better. I have an old expression from the 90s. If you don't have the cash, you can't afford to buy it. If you don't have the cash to buy it, you can't afford to buy it. Even with my cars, I buy them cash. Boop. That's it. No payments. I know people are probably going, how the hell are you going to do that? It's called discipline, being patient, buying what you can afford. Trust me, time creeps up on you. And 1 year quickly becomes 5 years, becomes 15 years. And if you set up habits as soon as possible where you're always trying to pay yourself as opposed to just servicing debt and paying interest, by eliminating that and you put that money in your pocket, 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, you find yourself in a really good situation. A really good situation. So that's the advice in this video. All right, I hope you found this useful. I'm Uncle Steph. I mentor people in software development, coding, freelancing, entrepreneurship, and so much more, personal finance, as you can tell. Everything I teach, by the way, is born out of personal experience. I'm not a theoretical guy. I don't believe in that. Don't trust the academic who has no experience. Trust only those who have the experience. I learned that the hard way in different areas. All right, cheers.